Welcome, esteemed faculty, staff, alumni, friends, families, and most importantly, welcome to the class of 2024. Yes. Today is your day, and we're here to honor each of you. We recognize all of the hard work that it took to get here, all of the study group sessions, the late nights, the early mornings, the time spent practicing your oral argument in front of your spouse, your kids, your parents, your dog, pretty much anyone who would listen. Many of you are first-generation students or will be the first lawyer in your family. Woo! Many of you held down a job or raised kids while juggling the demands of law school. Getting through law school is an accomplishment in and of itself, but so many of you excelled in law school while also undertaking work, volunteer, and family obligations. You are an inspiration to all of us. The Rutgers Law graduates sitting here today have each played a role in shaping this extraordinary community. We have watched as you supported each other when class lectures seemed impenetrable, or when your law school friends lost a loved one. Together, you have built a community that celebrates each other's successes and offers support when life and law school are challenging. This is also your alumni community. These are the folks that you will lean on and that will lean on you throughout your career. These are not just professional contacts. These are lifelong friends. And you will always have a home here. You are poised to enter the legal profession. You have learned from our talented faculty how to serve your clients with empathy, legal acumen, and an abiding commitment to professional ethics. But I know that you've learned so much more. An important part of being a lawyer is giving back to your community, whether through pro bono work, government service, or public interest law practice. We need look no further than Rachel Tavani or Zanaya Lewis, two of our graduating students who have an unwavering commitment to public service and provided countless hours of pro bono legal work to underserved communities. The Camden class of 2024 together has provided 6,940 hours of pro bono legal services. 6,940 hours of pro bono legal services. Our graduates understand that you have the ability and the obligation to give back by providing free or low-cost legal services to mentor the next generation of lawyers, to provide leadership in your communities. And the world needs you now more than ever. Lawyers are leaders. Lawyers uphold the rule of law. It was lawyers who drafted the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, Title VII, and the Equal Pay Act. It was lawyers who fought the hard-won legal battles in Brown versus Board of Education. Tomorrow is the 70th anniversary of the Brown decision. And although the long arc of the moral universe does, in fact, bend toward justice, we still have work to do. It was lawyers on our faculty, working with some of you as part of the New Jersey Innocence Project, who overturned the convictions of Dion Miller and Armand McLeod, both of whom were exonerated this year after being wrongfully convicted and incarcerated for decades. And lawyers will fight the influential battles of the future. You and your colleagues will define the limits and the promise of artificial intelligence, ensure that new drugs receive patents so that they can reach the hands of sick people, determine the parameters of consumer protection, draft new global treaties to address climate change, and rethink how mass incarceration operates in our society. This is a tall order, but I know that each and every one of you is up to the task. To do this, you will need empathy, humanity, and grace. James Baldwin said, "It is a terrible and inexorable law that one cannot deny the humanity of another without diminishing one's own. In the face of one's victim, one sees oneself." You all have the wisdom, empathy, and courage to see yourselves in the humanity of others. May you carry that with you throughout your legal career. So, to the class of 2024, you did it. And we are so proud to welcome you. Yes, that deserves another round of applause. We are so proud to welcome you into this incredible community of Rutgers Law School alumni. Please take a moment today to thank the people who supported you during your law school journey. No one walks this path alone, and we are all so grateful to you and everyone who helped you along the way. Again, congratulations to the class of 2024. Joining us on the stage today are Rutgers University Board of Trustees member Jean Fox, Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost Sandra Richtemeyer, 3L Class President Andrew Ibarra, Student Bar Association President Hannah Soyson, First Vice Chancellor of the Alumni Association Angela Middleton, New Jersey Supreme Court Justice Fabiana Pierre-Louis, Associate Chancellor Mary Beth Daisy, and Dean Donna Nikitas from the School of Nursing. Just this morning, many of you joined us for Class Day, where we recognized students who received one of many graduation awards. I cannot acknowledge all of them now, but I'd like to again offer congratulations to each recipient. Congratulations as well to all of you graduating with academic honors, including those who earned the highest GPAs in the graduating class. This year's Outstanding Scholastic Achievement Awards were earned by Nicole Aguiar and Alexandra Sholkoff. And the Paul C. Ireton Memorial Award for the highest grade point average went to Nicholas Hansen. Congratulations to all of you on your outstanding academic performance. It is now my pleasure to introduce this year's student speaker, Hannah Soyson, Student Bar Association President, a Montgomery County native in Pennsylvania who excelled at Bryn Mawr College, where she majored in political science and history. At Rutgers Law, she continued her active involvement holding positions in the Student Bar Association and the Women's Law Caucus. She also served as associate editor for the Women's Law Reporter. Hannah has established herself as a leader and scholar in both academics and the legal field. While her departure from Rutgers is bittersweet, her impact promises to resonate in the legal profession for years to come. Hannah.
Oh, thank you, Dean Bond. Hello. When I first met you, my fellow graduates and esteemed faculty of Rutgers Law School, I could only see you for half of who you are, literally, because half of your face was covered by a mask. While we had our physical masks on, perhaps we also had a mental one on too, one that made us feel inferior, internally asking the questions of, how can I be on par with my impressive peers? How do I land the job that I want? What job do I even want? Or if you're like me, how am I going to make it to graduation day? With a beginning like that to my law school career, I knew my time at Rutgers Law would not be the average law school experience. Later, I would learn that it would be so much more. Part of what exceeded my expectations was meeting you. Not only were my professors acclaimed scholars and advocates, but my classmates were neurosurgeons, news anchors, academics, veterans, mothers, and fathers. Who better to learn from than people who had lived so many lives prior to law school? If you're like me and did not have a career before law school, I want you to know that I learned from you too. I learned to view things from your one-of-a-kind perspective. I learned different ways to solve problems I assumed only had one solution. I learned from your passions and your interests, making me a well-rounded person. As the physical masks safely came down, so did the mental ones. Rutgers instilled a sense of community within us that enabled us to be transparent about how hard the law school experience can be. This is a community that does not hinder other people's success, that does not block access to an already elitist profession, and promotes the voices of people who are typically not given a platform. This environment allowed me to share my fears, my insecurities, but also my wildest dreams. This is a rare environment in the legal industry. I encourage you all to take these qualities with you in your career and implement them wherever you go. I encourage you to break the stigma that lawyers are part of some exclusive club. When we knock these walls down, I believe we will grow more as advocates, as colleagues, and as humans. I encourage you to be purposeful, but not calculated, to be headstrong, but open-minded, to be opinionated, but be grounded, and above all else, to practice with compassion and humility. As someone much more famous than me said, I encourage you to be the change that you want to see in the world. In an effort of keeping our metaphorical masks down, I thought I would be honest about how I am feeling right now. I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of all of you, and I feel prepared to enter this profession and actually practice law, but I feel less than comfortable graduating from my identity as a student. We've been in school for the majority of our lives, or have had the goal of getting on this stage today for so long. As much as I will not miss sweating through a cold call, taking an exam with a crazy fact pattern, or spading a law review article, I will miss the safety net of this institution and its wonderful community. But we cannot grow without change, no matter how scary that change is. Remaining stagnant is not one of our personality traits. We have worked too hard to not move forward. And just because we will no longer be in a classroom does not mean we cease being students. As someone close to me said, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Now is the time to soak up the expertise of the industry that we are entering. Take advantage of being junior in this field. Use it as a way to ask questions, network, and form your practice. A good lawyer will never be done learning. Today is a day of gratitude. I want to thank Rutgers for its academic accessibility and its emphasis on scholarship. I want to thank my professors for simplifying topics that they have studied the intricacies of for decades. I want to thank our families, our friends, our partners, our pets, our support systems for picking up the phone when we called you stressed out and for telling us that we would make it to this stage today. I also want you to thank yourselves. No matter how many people helped us get here, it was you who persevered. It was you who fulfilled the requirements and studied until your brain hurt. And it is you who will walk across this stage and exit as a Juris Doctor. Music has helped me express a lot of my emotions during law school. And don't worry, I'm not going to sing for you. But to conclude, I thought I'd share a message from my favorite musical, Wicked. At the end of Act 2, the two witches are at their most powerful, but they must separate from one another to pursue their own destinies, kind of like what we're doing right now. as they say goodbye, one which says to the other, "So let me say, before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You will be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now, in whatever way our stories may end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Thank you so much."
Thank you, Hannah, for those poignant words. And now we are going to hear from Andrew Ibarra. Andrew, I welcome you to the podium.
Hi, everyone, family, friends, and the class of 2024. Thank you, Hannah, for those inspiring words. I teared up a little bit at the end, so thank you for that. First off, I would like to thank the members of the Recording Academy for this award. I've always wanted a Grammy, so thank you so much for this honor. It's actually funny because I wrote this line before the class awards came out and I actually got an award, so thank you for the award that I received today. And in all sincerity, I would like to take this time for me and the entire class of 2024 to thank those who have helped us get to this day. So if you could take a moment, thank those that are here for us, those who couldn't be here. Clap for your friends and family that are here, for the faculty. We couldn't have gotten here without the support system. So when giving a speech at my high school graduation, with all the nerves and excitement, way back then, I forgot one line in my speech that I want to say now. So thank you to my mom and dad for your continuing support. Even if I may slip up here and there, I quite literally would not be here without you. So throughout law school, it felt like I lived by my calendar, counting each day until a new deadline or the next class. And I know many of us have been counting the minutes to today. I've seen your Instagram stories. The countdowns are there. And after 3 years with all of you, it's safe to say a lot of us will continue to live by our calendars in the future as we step into this next chapter. In the song We've Lost Dancing by one of my favorite producers and musicians, Fred Again, there's a line tucked into the rhythmic beat that I think speaks volumes. If I can live through this next 6 months, day by day, if I can live through this, what comes next will be marvelous. This has been my personal motto for the past year or so, and definitely will be for this foreseeable future. But just think, 6 months ago, the beginning of this spring semester, you're sitting at your desk, living by your calendar, flipping to May to see this date, anticipating and imagining how great graduation day would feel, in an effort to get a spike of motivation to read that next case or meet that next deadline. Now, the date on the calendar today reads May 16th, 2024, and it has been a climb to say the least. The journey to where we stand today has never been easy. Some people may have started this journey knowing exactly what they wanted and where they're going, and some, like myself, are still figuring it out. I remember my first day of contracts during Jumpstart. I was in the middle of my very first law school class on Zoom, and I had to Google which one is the plaintiff and which one is the defendant. And I think it's safe to say we've come a long way, but don't even get me started when there's an appellant and a respondent. Now, everyone said that 3 years goes by so fast, but with all of the peaks, like getting your first day in law school, actually getting into a class you've been waiting a year for, and hopefully Barrister's Ball, to the valleys like 1L final season or all the final seasons in general, the stress of preparing for an oral argument or final trial, and for some, maybe the day after Barrister's was a low. 3 years didn't go by fast, but every year, month, day, and even hour was jam-packed with our responsibilities and priorities of law school, both the good and the bad. In an interview with, again, my favorite artist, Fred Again, he talks about how he felt like he needed to go through something terrible in order to create something beautiful. Fred then plays a quote from Stephen Colbert that says, "It's a gift to exist, and with existence comes suffering. There's no escaping that. But if you're grateful for your life, then you have to be grateful for all of it." I don't know everyone's stories or journey coming into law school or during law school, but I know my story, and I know at some point for myself, it got tough. Not only having to read a 50-page Supreme Court decision at 11 p.m. because you forgot you had con law tomorrow, but life as a whole. We may have questioned every single decision that led us to that moment, and definitely may have cursed out some of those Supreme Court justices, but it got us to where we are today. So I'm proud of us for being here today, sitting in our funny little hats to walk across this stage. But I'm also grateful for those days that we struggled, fought, and survived, because those days helped build the foundation for the days that are ahead of us. So 6 months from today, when we all pass the bar, fingers crossed, and you're in your office as an attorney, working on a motion that's due tomorrow on a case that you just got an hour ago, or when you're set to appear on your own in front of a judge that you don't love working with, just remember that you lived through these past 3 years. You lived through these past 20-something years and maybe even more. And if you can live through this, what comes next will be marvelous again. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And I'm so glad that you finally thanked your parents. A little late, but that's all right. Thank you for those words. Justice Fabiana Pierre-Louis was nominated by Governor Phil Murphy on June 5th, 2020, and was sworn in as an Associate Justice on September 1, 2020. She is the first Black woman to serve on the New Jersey Supreme Court. Born on September 9th, 1980, in New York City, Justice Pierre-Louis spent her early childhood in Brooklyn and moved to Irvington, New Jersey when she was 8 years old. She received a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University in New Brunswick and a law degree from Rutgers Law School. At the time of her appointment, Justice Pierre-Louis was a partner at Montgomery, McCracken, Walker, and Rhodes, where she worked in the white-collar and government investigations practice group. She focused her practice on complex commercial litigation, white-collar crime, and government investigations. Prior to that, Justice Pierre-Louis was an assistant United States attorney at the U.S. Attorney's Office, where she served as the attorney in charge of the Trenton and Camden branches and was the first woman of color to hold both positions. Justice Pierre-Louis also worked in the Newark office in the general crimes and organized crime and gang units. Justice Pierre-Louis began her legal career as a law clerk to New Jersey Supreme Court Associate Justice John E. Wallace, Jr., whose seat she now occupies. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Justice Pierre-Louis.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, I need to make sure everyone's awake. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Thank you, Dean Bond, for that wonderful introduction. I would also like to thank Dean Bond for inviting me to speak here today. And I'd also like to thank Dean Levy and Arlene Lantilli and everyone who played a part in making this such a wonderful graduation ceremony today. I know these ceremonies take a lot of time and a lot of energy behind the scenes to make it everything that it is right now. So thank you to everyone who played a part in that. And somehow they also managed to figure out how to stop the rain for a couple of hours just so we can have the ceremony. Welcome, family, friends, and of course, the graduates of the class of 2024. I know that today is a very special day for all of you, particularly those of you who did not have a chance to walk across the stage when you graduated from college several years ago due to the pandemic, but thankfully we are all here today. As a Rutgers Law School Camden alum myself, who sat in those same seats many years ago, albeit with a different name. I think this arena has changed names about 10 times since I graduated. It is the ultimate honor to be asked to address the graduating class, something that I quite honestly would have never considered to be a possibility when I sat here in my cap and gown many years ago. So thank you for this honor. I am very, very grateful to be here. I have many, many fond memories of my time at Rutgers Law School here in Camden. I will not bore you with all those memories, but I will say that I am still a little jealous of the fact that I was not fortunate enough to be in the fancy new building. It was constructed after I graduated, but I still had a wonderful time in law school nevertheless. So for my remarks today, I thought about my time in law school, my graduation ceremony, and the things that I have come to realize were important truths and lessons that I have carried with me throughout my life and my career. So as you leave Rutgers to start your careers, I am going to ask that you keep a few things in mind. Values that have uplifted me and helped me throughout my journey. First, I ask that you please cherish and appreciate the education, community, and never-ending support system that you received here at Rutgers. Know that such a quality education is far from a given for many in this state, in this country, and around the world. I was the second person in my family to attend college, just after my sister, who's only 2 years older than me, was the first. I was the first person in my family to go to law school. I know that many of you graduates know what that feels like, because I know that nearly 40% of you are first-generation college students, and a whopping 92% of you will soon be first-generation lawyers. Being a first-generation student in college and/or law school comes with a lot of pressure. At times, it might also come with the feeling that you do not belong because you are embarking on a path that no one in your family has ever taken before. But it also comes with the pride of knowing that you are standing on the shoulders of everyone in your life and everyone in your family that has made the sacrifices so that you could sit here today as law school graduates. That was my story. I fit those demographics as a first-generation student. My parents were both immigrants from Haiti who came to the United States in search of the American dream. My father wasn't a lawyer, he was a New York City cab driver, and my mother worked in a hospital in Manhattan, first in the kitchen and then transporting patients. English was not my first language. I spent my early childhood in a very small 2-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn with 7 of us, at the very least at times, before moving to Irvington here in New Jersey. My life is not representative of the traditional trajectory that most have come to expect of someone who would one day be a justice on the highest court in a state. But my parents were determined to make each and every sacrifice they deemed necessary in order for me to have a bright future. Even enrolling me in private schools that I know now they could not afford. From an early age, my parents always stressed the importance of education as a way of opening opportunities for my future. Because of the sacrifices that my parents made for me, I have never for 1 second taken for granted the opportunity I had to be part of this fine institution and proudly say that I am a Rutgers Law graduate every chance I get. "18 years ago, when I sat in those seats in my cap and gown, set to embark on my journey in the legal profession, I had no idea that would lead me to a seat on the Supreme Court of New Jersey, or that I would be the first Black woman or the first woman of color in that court's 240-plus year history to have a seat on that court. What I do know now is that the education and the skills that I learned here at Rutgers paved the path that has led me to where I am today. And the same will be true for all of you. Please never forget the privilege that it is to call yourself Rutgers Law graduates. because it means that you were fortunate enough to obtain an excellent education in a supportive environment that will continue to support you for the rest of your lives. So please take the fullest advantage of the education you have received. My next request is that you challenge yourself and never be afraid to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. Trust me when I say that there will be many, many opportunities throughout your life, whether it is to enhance your career or to take another path. But with those opportunities will come 3 times as many reasons not to do it and not to go for it. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone or try something new, even if it's hard. I have to admit that there have been many times in my life and my career that I was hesitant to take on a new challenge, a new position, try something new, or walk down a path that no one who looks like me has ever walked before. When I was an assistant United States attorney at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I was unexpectedly asked to be the attorney in charge of the Trenton office, which is one of the 3 offices in New Jersey. My immediate response was, I could not do it. At the time, I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I had only been back in the office for about 6 months, coming back from maternity leave. My knee-jerk reaction was I couldn't do it. I told myself that I had too much going on with my own workload and with my family life to take on such an enormous task and responsibility. I thought it would be great for a woman to be in charge of the office, but not me. I couldn't do it. When I talked to my husband, who's a great man, he told me that I absolutely could do it and should do it, and there was a reason why I was asked to take on that responsibility instead of so many other attorneys. And as I thought about it more, I remembered that there had only ever been one woman in charge of that office, and there had never been a woman of color in charge in over 200 years of history in that office. And if I didn't do it, I didn't know when that opportunity would present itself again for another woman, let alone a woman of color. And I thought of the words of John Lewis, the late Georgia congressman who fought for civil rights alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who just so happened to be the commencement speaker at my law school graduation. He once asked the questions, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? I had to take those words to heart. The opportunity was presented to me. I couldn't wait for someone else. So I decided to take on that role that no one who looks like me had ever had and to have a chance to make an impact. I seized that opportunity, and that opportunity led to even more opportunities. It's not always easy to forge your own path or try something new. We're all human. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be unsure. But in all things, have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself and your abilities. You have made a valuable investment in your lives and your future these past few years. Trust the education that you have received at this phenomenal institution and the foundation that Rutgers has laid to enable you to travel a road to success. Next, I ask that as you leave Rutgers, be bold and use your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up and be heard. I realize that does not always come easy for everyone, but you have arrived at where you are because people valued you and your abilities, and they want to hear what you have to say. I have to give credit to my own mother, because I learned by watching her that my voice was one that deserved to be heard. My mother is a Black woman, an immigrant who speaks with a heavy accent, and is from the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I know that there were plenty of times in her life that people sought to stifle her voice because of what she looked like, what she sounded like, and because of her station in life. Despite all that, trust me when I say there has never been a moment in my life that my mother didn't make it absolutely clear to anyone and everyone that they would hear her when she was ready to give them a piece of her mind. And anytime she began a sentence with, "Let me tell you something," everyone knew to move aside and take cover. I didn't know it then, but I know now that watching my mother be the strong and forthright woman that she always has been instilled those qualities in me. I learned from her to always be ready and willing to speak my mind confidently, thoughtfully, and respectfully in order for others to listen. You should be ready and willing to do the same, because our world, particularly the law, is ever-changing and always evolving. But that change and evolution only happens when people from different backgrounds and perspectives are willing to speak up and add their voices to the conversation. Lastly, as you start your careers, I ask that you please be kind and respectful of others. I know that sounds very simple. It is. But in today's environment, I don't think those simple common courtesies that used to go without saying are being said enough. So please, be respectful and kind of others. Years ago, I was asked during an interview what advice I would give to someone looking to make an impact in the legal profession. My answer was simple: be courteous and respectful to others, even those who are your adversaries. It is unlikely that you will make a positive impact in the legal profession, in your community, or any area of life if you treat people poorly. The legal profession, unfortunately, has a reputation of being extremely competitive and non-collegial. That was the exact opposite of what I experienced here at Rutgers Law, and I'm sure that is the same for all of you. During my time at Rutgers, I learned to always treat others with respect, to be a good colleague, to be ethical in everything that I do. And I think those lessons, most of all, are what have led me to where I am today. The people that have made the biggest impact in my career and my journey in this profession are extremely intelligent, they are talented lawyers and judges, and are highly regarded as leaders in the profession. But above all, they treat people, whether they are judges or janitors or cab drivers like my father, with respect and kindness. So please try your best to do the same. So those are my requests of you, the class of 2024. Hold strong to the values and ideals that have played such a big part of your time here at Rutgers. Don't forget the community that you have here and will always have here. I truly look forward to reading and hearing about all the wonderful things that all of you will achieve for many, many years to come. Congratulations, graduates.
Wow, what an inspiring story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today. And we are so proud to call you one of our alums. Thank you again for joining us. Before the moment you've been waiting for, let me recognize those whom the class has chosen to honor in the ceremonies today. The Grand Marshal today is Professor John Oberdiek. Our readers are Professor Stacy Hawkins, Professor Jacob Russell, Professor Rick Swedloff, and Professor Adnan Zulfikar. Hooding the graduates will be Professor Ari Athalalo, Professor Michael Carrier, Professor Katie Iyer, and Professor Taya Johnson. We are also pleased to continue a tradition we started several years ago. Some of our alumni will join in presenting diplomas to their relatives, and several of our students will bring their children to the stage with them. Today, we get to officially celebrate your achievement in front of the entire law school community, your classmates, your families, and your friends. And we invite you to make as much noise to celebrate our graduates. We would now like to invite our Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost, Sandra Richtemeyer, to confer the degrees.
Good afternoon. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please rise? Will the Faculty of Law and the other members of the platform please rise? Upon the recommendation of the Faculty of Law and by virtue of the authority of the Board of Governors and Trustees of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, I confer upon each of you the degree of Juris Doctor. And there's more. and declare you worthy of all the rights, privileges, and special obligations here and elsewhere appertaining thereto. Congratulations. And you can all please be seated.
Our readers will now announce the individual names of the graduates and note the academic honors they have received.
Jack Abdella. Nadal Abu Saif. Julianne Afanato. Nicole Aguiar, summa cum laude. Evan Albin. Jack Andreas, cum laude. Nirja Arvindan, magna cum laude. Gabriela Aste Molina. Joshua Bach Brivek. Nicholas Balkowski. Edward Bank. Mike Bowder, accompanied by his three sons, Eli, Jack, and Luke. Noah Baumgartel. Marquise Bell. Kristen Bentz. Michael Blow, cum laude, accompanied by his mother-in-law, class of 2000, Swati Kotardi. Donnell Badnarchik. John Boswinkle. Garrett Bolton. Daniel Bucco. Are you Thomas Beauvais? Oh, no, Scott. Scott Bowers. Marion Brewington. Haley Brister. Daniel Brown. That's okay. Ariel Budd. Lydia Budd. Vanessa Calixto. Ryan Campbell. Brian Casey. Mary Casper. Ashley Cassell. Molly Chertkov. Joshua Cleveland. Isabella Kotza. Wesley Costello. Samuel Craig. Stacy Kroc. Chakima Krushank. Charlene Cubello. Jacob Davis, cum laude. Skylar D. Martinez. Loris Dennis. Megan Duvall, cum laude. William DeVries.
Cisse Jawara. Caitlin Dibsey. Maxwell Dickens. Stephen Dittmar. Trang Do, summa cum laude, joined by Luke and Julian. Kyle Dotson. Gwyn Dwangnapa. Bruce Dutra, cum laude. Colin Egan. Udoka Ibutu. Lindsay Eveland, cum laude. Ryan Fader, cum laude. Miriam Fieger. Megan Frayne, magna cum laude. Sage Gabrielli. Daniel Gandolfo. Sarah Gladio. Ushna Goria. Broderick Graham, magna cum laude. Bailey Gunner. Andrew Hall. Nicholas Hansen, summa cum laude, joined by Evelyn and Autumn. Austin Hari Prasad. Michael Hatch. Jacob Hollenbeek, magna cum laude. Grant Hill. Timothy Hinton, magna cum laude. Spencer Holm, cum laude. Andrew Hubert. Andrew Ibarra. Morgan Inman. Theodore Jablonski. Kyle Jackson. Shalea Jackson, magna cum laude. Allison Jones. Priya Kavuru, cum laude. Samuel Kim. Jeremy Keff. Dylan Lamb. Natalie LaRosa. Alyssa Lee. Clara Lefton. Julio Leon. Kyle Leon. Zanaya Lewis. Andrew Lombard.
Sarah Lynch. Emily McCarr. Daniela Menino. Michael Marchese. Renee Marshina. Kira McCraddock. Rebecca McCusker. Colin McHugh. Nicholas McLean. Ki Min and his wife, Hadra Mirza. Zachary Mitchell. Michaela Monica. Wyatt Morrison. Sean Mulville. Ryan Namath. Miguel Nunez. Catherine O'Donnell. Jordan Ohl. Alyssa Olagbegi. Caitlin Owens. Pooja Padipali. Rutu Patel. Joel Paul. Dominique Perez. Ryan Pletcher. Matthew Powers. Basma Kazi. Kayla Ramirez. Paul Ravelli. Brian Reed, cum laude. Missy Rebovich, magna cum laude. Austin Reed. Jennifer Schuyler Ricci. Eric Richwine. Christian Rodriguez. Austin Romano. Christopher Romero. Louis Rosenblum, magna cum laude. Brooke Rotherham. Alexandra Ruane.
Seth Rush. Michaela Regalski. Zahira Sabir. Joshua Salkin. Ian Salzberg Pollard. Benjamin Salvatore, summa cum laude. James Santoro. Ryan Sarnecki. Rachel Savage. Alexandra Sholkoff, summa cum laude. Haley Schultz. Alicia Schwamb. Samantha Seltzer. Callie Saradarian Marioni. Sydney Shore. Kaylee Cisco. Candice Alexandria Smith. Lucas Smith. Hannah Marie Soisson. Chloe Sokol. Sutiwa Paula Suvanafasi Lewingrath Brown. Miranda Stafford. Julia Stager. Adam Stommel. Madeline Swan. Rachel Tavani, accompanied by her dad, Richard Tavani, class of '87, and mom, Lisa Hibner Olson, class of '89. Kyle Teal. Cassidy Torelli. Margaret Toby. Daniel Tomasic, cum laude. Naomi Torres Velez. Chase Ulysses. Austin Urias. Laura Valeri. Alexander Walenchek, magna cum laude. Morgan Walsh, cum laude. Timothy Walter, magna cum laude. Michael Williamson. Nicholas Whitmer. Rachel Wolfram, cum laude. Emily Wolfenson. Connor Woodburn. Cassidy Young. Eamon Yonker. And last but not least, Heather Ann Zelks, cum laude.
Please join me in offering a hearty round of applause for the graduates of the class of 2024. If I can ask one more thing of all of you before we start asking for gifts to the law school, I encourage all of you to become active members of the Alumni Association and to stay connected with this institution. Our alumni make innumerable contributions to the ongoing success of the law school. You'll mentor and hire our students. Some of you will teach with us. Some of you will deliver annual lectures or participate on student-organized panels. We are truly lucky to have an alumni base that takes such pride in their alma mater and who possess such a deep loyalty to the institution. As our next speaker, Angela Middleton, first Vice Chancellor of the Rutgers Law School Camden Alumni Association, exemplifies the kind of committed alums who will make this school better and stronger. Angela, please come to the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. I understand I am the last or one of the last things standing between you and graduation libations and other celebrations, so I promise I will be quick. You're welcome. Acclaimed tennis star, the late Arthur Ashe, has said, "Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can." This certainly can apply to you as law school graduates today. So, starting where you are. Only 9 years ago, I was sitting in one of your seats, attending my own law school commencement. I can tell you that since then, starting many tasks, using my Rutgers Law education, connections, and resources, I've been able to do more than what I imagined. But it started with a vision, an idea for what I wanted the next part of my journey to look like, a vision that my Rutgers alumni family helped me to see and showed me how to use the tools that I had at my disposal, using what you have. As an alum of this law school, you will be connected to some of the greatest legal and business minds of our time, including some of your fellow graduates who are joining the alumni ranks with you today. Whether they're your colleagues or your bosses, your co-counsel or opposing counsel, your judge or mediator, your referral source or reference, your fellow alumni will be one of your most valuable resources. Hopefully you've spent the last 3 or 4 years starting to form these bonds. Well, don't lose them now. The Alumni Association provides many opportunities to continue nurturing those connections, and we truly hope to see you at an event taking advantage of those opportunities very soon. Do what you can. As an alum, not only will you have the opportunity to receive from your peers, but also to give back to them, and to give back to the law school and to students who will fill the law school seats that you are now leaving. I know from personal experience the power of the connections to both alumni peers and to students. And there happens to be one connection I have embraced that embodies both examples. Today, I am an assistant United States attorney for the United States Attorney's offices. But I can tell you, I had no interest in being an assistant United States attorney until I met one as a law student. The AUSA, Rutgers Law alum that I met, spoke so passionately about her work that I knew it was something I had to at least consider. And when I considered it, I knew that it was the right path for me too. That alum first inspired me as a student and then encouraged me as an attorney peer after graduation. That alum who first sparked this passion for me was none other than your keynote speaker today, Justice Fabiana Pierre-Louis. When Justice Louis met me, I was a bright-eyed law student with lots of questions, but her sacrifice of time and advice was just the inspiration that I needed. So do what she did. Be a mentor, talk to students, speak on panels at the law school. Who knows how many students you can inspire? Who knows how many of your peers you can encourage and counsel? Reach back, stay connected, start where you are as a Rutgers Law graduate, use what you have in your Rutgers arsenal, and do what you can to make our profession and our society a better place. The Alumni Association is here to cheer you on and help you in your journey. And with that, welcome to our alumni ranks, and congratulations, class of 2024.
Thank you again for the warm welcome, Angela, to our new graduates. Before we adjourn, I would like to thank several people without whom none of this would have been possible. Kristen Walker and the entire events team from Rutgers-Camden, as well as Arlene Lenteni from our own Student Affairs office, who deserve the lion's share of credit for ensuring the success of this ceremony and this entire graduation week. I want to also thank the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Victoria Chase, and Professor Charlotte Schneider, and Executive Assistant Lisa Alston, who did an enormous amount of last-minute work to make sure that people could graduate today. Finally, the class of 2024 and I invite you